Jamal Niaz here with Adam Smith. We've just had Crolla's farewell press conference. As far as we know, that's the final press conference that he'll take part in as a professional fighter. What was that like for you being up there, having seen him grown so much over the past decade?
He's grown up, wasn't he, with us? I mean, I remember when he first laced the gloves on as a pro. I knew him in the amateurs, actually. He's been an amazing story for Manchester boxing, for British boxing, and for Sky boxing. You know, we took Ricky Hatton all the way through, and we've taken Anthony Crolla all the way through, and you know, his story has been incredible. You know, the ups and downs, the losses to the likes of Yusuf Al-Hamidi, the loss in prize fighter, you know, fighters like Gary Sykes, good fighters. Gary Matthews beating him at British level, and you wonder what would happen. You know, the robbery outside the ring when he thought, would he even fight again? He's been outstanding for the game, for the sport. He has no ego. He has his feet on the ground. He is a fighter's fighter. He is a fan's fighter. He has time for everyone. He always has a smile on his face. And he's a great fighter as well, who's dragged everything out of himself. He shared the ring with some greats. He's become a world champion in front of his beloved home fans in the arena he used to sit in as a kid. Look, I've got a job to do on Saturday night. I've got a fight to call, and Anthony Crolla's got a fight to try and win. You know, there's two guys in there, and you know, there's no necessarily happy ending. But obviously, when it's said and done, win or lose, we will have incredible memories of Anthony Crolla, and he'll always have a fond place at Sky. Listen, we had him down for the week of Lomachenko and Campbell. He was a terrific pundit. You know, timekeeping meticulous, preparation meticulous, look meticulous, spoke meticulously. Look, I've got a big team at Sky, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that would like to see a lot more of Anthony Crolla in front of the camera. So, listen, I might have to fight Joe Gallagher for that, because I'm sure he'll want him in the gym. He's gonna have options. Yeah. He's gonna have a tough time adjusting, as they all do, but he's gonna have options, and that's where you want to be. He's given a lot to the sport, and he's got a lot of love, and there's going to be a lot of people that are going to help Anthony Crolla, you know, come to terms with the fact that he won't fight anymore, which is a tough, you know, period for any fighter. And they'll, but I think I've got a lot of belief that he'll get through that, and I think he'll go on to do really good things for himself, for his family, and for the sport.
Obviously, we've got Katie Taylor as well, looking to become two-weight world champion. Always a massive occasion when she fights, but she's obviously really relaxed. She has a really relaxed persona. But do you think secretly inside she's got a fire lit on within her after how close the last fight was in New York?
I think Katie Taylor's had a fire burning inside her since she was a young girl. I mean, to get into an amateur ring and pretend to be a boy for 2 years to actually fight is an unbelievable story in itself. She's the greatest amateur ever. She's possibly the greatest sports person ever to come out of Ireland. Full stop. I holiday over there. Everybody knows who Katie Taylor is, and it was really important for me to bring her back to 10 o'clock prime time. You know, she's been fighting through the night for a lot of the audience over here. Now she's back on Sky Sports at 10 o'clock. It's wonderful. So I think there's a deep fire. I think she trains determinedly, doggedly, unbelievably, single-mindedly, like almost no one else I know. You know, she has a little tiny apartment in Connecticut. I saw her in the summer. She is dedicated to become the greatest woman boxer that's ever lived. She was a little bit fortunate in the garden against Delphine Besson. It was like that. A lot of people felt Besson won, and I can understand Besson being in tears afterwards. Katie got it. She got the decision. She unified the lightweight belts. A wonderful achievement. Now she wants more. She wants to become a two-weight champion. She wants the rematch with Besson. She wants to fight Serrano. She wants to fight Matchroom's latest signing, Cecilia Brackhurst. There's a list so long for Katie Taylor to try and fulfill that dream, and she doesn't want to let Saturday just be a blip. So she is as dedicated, and I think she has probably got something to prove from what happened with Besson. Listen, Besson was a great fight. That was a wonderful advert for women's boxing. Like last Saturday was a wonderful advert for boxing with Josh Taylor and Regis Prograis giving us one of the great fights we've ever had on Sky. Katie Taylor and Besson, one of the great fights of the year, no question about it. That 10th round, that last round was unbelievable. Everyone in the garden on their feet. everybody knows what you get when Katie Taylor fights. You know, she's like a quiet girl, quiet outside the ring, wonderful personality, wonderful ambassador, lovely, a great role model. In the ring, she's a terrier, and she's got a tough fight up in weight against a really good, strong champion. It's a hard fight, but Katie should have the skills to get through. We'll see.
Do you think the problem is when you've got such a massive aura about you outside of the ring, this massive reputation that Katie Taylor has, that when someone does find success against her, like Persone did in the last fight, that the questions are whether Katie's dropped down a level or the person has actually risen up to the occasion? But how do you go about addressing those sort of queries?
There's a bit of both of those. There's also a bit of the fact that Katie Taylor loves a scrap.
Yeah.
You know, she's a beautiful boxer, but she loves to get inside, throw her body shots, get up close, and when she's buzzed and when she's backed up, you know, the little bit of the red mist comes down. I mean, we go back to Ricky Hatton, even someone like Anthony Crolla, but certainly Ricky, who, you know, you could be having a laugh and a joke and a cup of tea with on the morning of a fight. When that switch went,
Be a terror.
The hitman was unbelievable, right? Katie's exactly the same, you know. 4 or 5 hours before a fight, she'll be like, you just can't even believe she's going to get in a ring. Something goes through her in that hour before, and she is unbelievably determined and dedicated in a ring. And she wants to knock someone out. And I think that sometimes a little bit maybe gets in the way of her pure skills. So she likes to mix it and match, which is why everyone loves watching her. I think I would advise her. I'm not in her corner, you know. Ross NMA, Brian Peters, they're their own team. But if I was to advise her anything, it's maybe don't get too engaged with this up in the way. Stay with your boxing skills. You know, get the technique, get the talent flowing. But I tell you, at some point she's going to stand and trade, because that's what Katie does.
You know, we break down those 2 fights there, the real upper echelon of the sport. But then this month also, you've got to go and work on the Logan Paul KSI fight. Now, how do you differentiate your role? Because we all know what that is, it's a spectacle. But your job is to sell that to the audience.
You say I've got to go and work on it. I'm really excited about it. Yeah. I mean, I'm really...
No, I'm not saying it as a bad thing.
I tell you why I'm excited about it, because my kids know more about it than I do. Yeah. Like you, I'm a boxing fan. And I can understand the hardcore, the trade, you know, turning their noses up. What are these 2 guys topping a bill? It's called entertainment. Why is Tyson Fury on Sky Sports box office tonight without boxing? It's entertainment, and if people are gonna, if there's a market for it, which there is a huge YouTube market to see KSI and Logan Paul fight, then we go with it. If you don't embrace it, you're going to get left behind. What I like is the fact that Devin Haney, Billy Joe, there's other real top fighters on the bill, and it's a chance for a new demographic to have a look. If my kids are going to stay up and watch KSI and Logan Paul to see who's the king of the YouTubers, they might just have a little look at Devin Haney and the others to say, you know, let's get involved in boxing at its best. So it's a mixture, but we call it and we take it like it is. Yes, we're going to work with the YouTube world next week. We've got Joe Weller and Gibb. I can't wait. I'm flying out with Joe on Monday. We've also got Chris Eubank Jr. working for Sky, Johnny Nelson, Matt Macklin. It's a fusion of the 2 sides. It's the social, it's the boxing world.
So you are excited about it.
It's going to be a circus, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Just before you go as well, you mentioned Tyson Fury as well, Sky box office tonight with the WWE, which kind of came really out of left field, out of nowhere. Frank Warren actually wasn't aware that was going to happen until it did.
I don't think anyone was.
Exactly. So in terms of his position in the sport of boxing, he's also said that he's going to get Conor McGregor's training in MMA. Now, is he going to come back to the sport of boxing? Is he going to reach the heights that he did before? And how dangerous is it to be so competitive in other fields at the same time as what he's chasing?
I think we know what wrestling is. So listen, let's hope he gets out of this in one piece. And the storyline is what the storyline is. If they want another go at it, they have another go at it. Tyson Fury is using it as entertainment and publicity. And if he does get involved with Conor McGregor, it will be exactly the same thing. Tyson Fury is a fighter, and I expect to see him back in the ring against Deontay Wilder in February. He's been wonderful for the sport. You know, we haven't had him. He's been on BT. They've done a great job with him. He's been terrific the way he's come back. He's a great marketing man. He's a bright guy, and I, for one, are going to be tuning into Sky Sports box office tonight, which, remember, is not boxing office. It's Sky Sports box office. It's entertainment, and I'm going to be entertained by Tyson Fury tonight. I've got to run.
I know you've got a train to catch.
Okay, cheers. No problem.
Thank you.